Hey guys, Steve here with the stock market outlook for the week of August 18th. We touched on it quickly in the weekend update, but I wanted to obviously do a more in-depth video on where the markets are, where the kind of price action we're seeing, and kind of analyze what's happened over the last week or 2 weeks to see where maybe we think the market's headed. So we talked about the S&P 500 futures on the weekend weekend update. We basically discussed how they were bouncing off of this weekly trend line support. Okay, it came in. It was 2 weeks ago, and we had that pretty big sell-off. Then we had a doji, and now it looks like it's moving higher. Classic reversal signal. And this trend line's been intact for pretty much all of 2012, or all of 2012, and all of 2013. So the last year and a half, this trend line has been intact. We've had a couple bounces off of it, in the past, and it looks like we're doing the same now. So on the daily chart, we talked about the market coming into this 1880, 1890 area, which basically represented these highs back through here. So we came back in to test 1890 almost exactly, and have rallied since. And the one thing I was discussing on the weekend update was, potentially we had a couple resistance points moving back higher. We had this low, and we also had the 50-day moving average, which, to be honest, the market kind of pushed through them with pretty easily. And when we pushed through the 50-day moving average, this was a spot that I said, well, we could reverse from here and kind of trap some bulls that were getting in after the 50-day moving average was overtaken. We had some news come out on Friday, and the market was down at one point. I think it was down like 15 points, and the fact is it closed right back at the top or back at the open, which was in the top third of the range. So I'm considering that to be a bullish outcome. When we had news a couple weeks ago it came out, we had days that were down 200, 300 points. And that could have easily happened in the market, and the fact that it didn't and it actually regained those lows, to me, tells me that this is actually a strong market. People are pushing it higher, and there's a lot more bullishness than bearishness in the market right now. So we did overtake this low here, this 1950. In all honesty, the next stop I see is the 1980 highs. So, I don't see really much resistance now between where we are and these highs. And then let's see what happens. If we get back to those highs and we reverse again, then maybe what's happening is we're building a consolidation area that's a little bit wider than we originally anticipated. Something like this on the weekly chart. And, it's building up some steam or going to consolidate these gains. So, that's the S&P. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is actually the stronger of the indices. All right, this is actually firing off a buy signal, in my opinion. Basically, this trend line on the weekly chart has been intact for about a year now. We're still well above trend line support. We never came back and tested the weekly trend line. All right. Excuse me. So on this one, what I'm looking at is, if you look at the daily chart, we came back, tested these lows, 38.60. Okay, we tested those lows, which also coincided with trend line support and the 50-day moving average. So you had a lot of things lining up in that one spot. And sure enough, the market bounced off of that. The NASDAQ bounced and now is at new highs. Okay, it closed new highs on Friday. And this would be if you were trading futures, or if you wanted to trade the Qs, QQQ. I think that's firing off the same type of signal. So again, this one's not as prevalent as the NQs, but either way, you could take the position in the NASDAQ, futures, in the ETF, and trade it just as you would a stock. Forget the ticker symbol, just trade the chart. Put a stop here under 38.60. All right, you're entering at 39.86. or whatever the open is for tomorrow. And, we'll see what happens. But in my opinion, this is the strongest stock or strongest index, followed by the S&P, and the last one being the Dow, which is the weakest. All right, so the Dow broke this accelerated trend line, broke 50-day, came all the way down, tested this trend line from down here, which if you look at the weekly chart, we broke the weekly trend line, but we came right back into this 16,400, 430 level, and are now bouncing off of that. So that represents these highs, basically from the beginning of 2013 on until we had this little breakout. We got the breakout. We came back and tested. So just as we do with any stock, we always talk about when a breakout happens, there's always a possibility that it comes back and tests the breakout level. Right now, it looks like we tested, and it looks like it's a successful breakout. Right now, what's happening is we're hitting the underside of the 50-day moving average, and especially after a run, basically a V-shaped reversal. I think what needs to happen here on the Dow is we need to get a little sideways action and then another breakout higher to test this 17,000 level. So, again, in my opinion, if you were going to trade any of these, you would want to be weighted in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is the stronger of the three. The S&P follows, and then the Dow futures are the laggard. But like I said, I don't really put too much emphasis in the Dow futures just because it's only made up of 30 stocks, the Dow. So the other one I wanted to go over real quick, which we haven't touched on yet, I looked at this morning, was the Russell. Okay, so the Russell, which are the smaller cap stocks, that one's been in a nice uptrend for since 2011. Came up, the uptrend broke by time, not price. All right, and now it's been moving sideways. So now we're in a consolidation. So I think if we can get the Russell to break out over this 1209, you could see something similar to a continuation, and a measured move would kind of take it up the same amount of distance that it went up originally. So we had this. It's kind of like an A, B, C, D type of pattern. So from here, 1788 to 1100, so about 400 points. So if we got a breakout, maybe we would see about another 400 points. And, that's just a quick and dirty measured move. I'm sure there's more accurate ways to look at it. But the thing I'm seeing on the Russell is the fact that it's not broken. It's just consolidating to me. So what that means, in my opinion, is, the only markets, all four markets are in an uptrend still. There's none that are in a downtrend. We did have some breaks on the Dow, but again, still in an uptrend in my opinion, because we haven't made on the weekly chart. We have yet to make a lower high and a lower low. All right, we're still making higher highs. We're still making higher lows. Same on the S&P, and same on the NASDAQ. Like I said, we're at new highs. So what I take out of all this information is the market is set up to go higher. I see no reason that the market is. There's no signs, in my opinion, from a technical, from a price action standpoint, that this market is going lower. Again, this is all just predictions at this point because price action dictates our trading. But like I said, I think at this point, some consolidation would probably be a good thing. But at this point, we have higher lows, higher highs on all four markets. And, at this juncture, I would say we should be trading to the long side. There's really no reason, in my opinion, to be short. And, let's see what happens this week. But, predictions for this week, I think if we can get up to this 1980 level in the S&P, I don't think we break out this week. I think if we can get up there and kind of stay there, I talked about this in one of my tweets last week, and stay there and maybe get a couple days or weeks of sideways movement and then have a breakout. I think that's the optimal setup, because similar to a couple of stocks we talked about in the weekend update, if we get a breakout over 1980, look at how far extended we're going to be from this trend line and from the 50-day moving average. I'd rather see us kind of move sideways and then get a breakout when this 50-day and trend line are a little bit closer to current prices. So really, that's it for this outlook this morning. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this is helpful. Again, just taking a look at the indices and making some predictions on where we're going. But obviously, our trading will be dictated based on actual price action and not predictions that we're making here. So this is just a good little roadmap to see where everything is heading. So, like I said, have a great rest of the morning. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you tonight for the strategy session. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and follow me, StockTwits, Twitter, Google+, and you could subscribe as well to the nightly recap that are sent out about 8 o'clock every night Eastern Time with the with the video links and strategy session links for every day, Monday through Thursday. All right, take care, guys.